Let's begin by offering our respects to the founder Acharya of ISKCON, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Om Agyana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute. Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye. Vancha Kalpa Taruvyascha Kripa Sindhu Vyaevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Please repeat after me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 So what did we see? Okay, before that, we would like to welcome all of you on our weekly classes. We have with us here today Aja, Ayush, Disha Jadwani, Disha Milwani. We have Hema, Jagruti, Karuna, Lal and Mehek Milwani. Then we have Lavanya, Lavina, Manju. We have N.C. Venkatchari. We have Auntie Nita, Pavani. My parents are there. Then we have Ranjit Das, Saket, and Kalpana Heblekar. Okay. So what did we see in the previous class? All paths lead to the same goal, true or false? As per the lessons of the Bhagavad Gita. What is the answer?
True.
Okay. Anybody else wants to try? What did we see in the previous class? If all paths lead to the same goal, then what is the meaning of the message of the Bhagavad Gita? No matter what I do, anyway, I will go to the same goal, whether I follow Bhagavad Gita or I don't follow Bhagavad Gita, whether I lead a spiritual life or I don't follow a spiritual life. Anyway, if I'm going to get the same goal, then what is the meaning of the message of the Bhagavad Gita?
You reach faster.
You reach faster. So what is my goal if I lead a sinful life? And what is my goal if I lead a life of spirituality following the instructions of the Bhagavad Gita? Is the goal the same?
No. If you live a sinful life, you'll go to hell. But if you live a pious life, you can either come back as a human being or go back to Godhead.
Yes. So it's not that all paths lead to the same goal. Yes. So this statement, all paths lead to the same goal, is actually false. In the previous class, we saw so many shlokas that proves how Krishna is giving different destinations for different activities. Let me go to my... Can you all see the screen?
Yes, Mataji.
See here, we discussed this shloka. In 4.11, Krishna says, "Or as all surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly." So how much Krishna reciprocates depends on how much we surrender. It is proportionate to our surrender. If we surrender more, the Lord will reciprocate more. If we surrender less, then he will reciprocate less. Just like how if we have a software, we have the trial version of a software because we don't want to pay the full amount to use all the features. So we will not be able to access all the features of the software because we are only using a trial version, right? But when we are willing to pay more, then we can access more features of that particular software. When we pay the full amount, then we can access all the features. So how much we can access of the software depends on how much we are willing to pay. In the same way, how much the Lord reciprocates to us is proportionate to how much we are willing to pay. What is the price that we are willing to pay? Are we willing to surrender to the will of the Lord, or are we still holding on to our own sense gratification? So this is proportion. So sometimes one may say that somebody is receiving more mercy, somebody is receiving less mercy. Well, it's proportionate to the surrender of the person. Then we discuss everyone follows my path in all respects. What does this statement mean? In response to this statement, we discussed very, very important shlokas where we saw how Krishna is contrasting how different paths give you different destinations. It's not that all paths lead to the same goal. Because if all paths lead to the same goal, then it makes, here we saw that, it makes Krishna's words redundant. What is the value of the message of the Bhagavad Gita? See, if Arjuna fought, it would have a different impact for him personally as well as on the society we discussed, right? The society's fate would be different if Arjuna did not fight, in contrast to what the society's fate was when Arjuna ultimately decided to fight the war. So it's not that all paths lead to the same goal. The paths were different. Arjuna fighting the war and Arjuna not fighting the war, they were two different paths and they had two different destinations, two different goals, two different results would have come out of it. So all paths lead to the same goal. This claim makes Krishna's words redundant at the catastrophic Kurukshetra battle inconsequential. It is not the teaching of the Bhagavad Gita. So I recommend that you all go through these shlokas from the previous class and see how Krishna is giving different destinations for different activities. Here, this is one set and this is one set. Then again, 723, he's contrasting, then 8.15 and 16. Like that, we saw 3 slides with different shlokas to understand that it's not true that all paths lead to the same goal. What else did we see in the previous class? Does anybody remember? So, okay, coming back to this 8.11, let me go back again. If this statement, everyone follows my path in all respects, if this does not mean that all paths lead to the same goal, then what does it actually mean? What it actually means is everything is under the jurisdiction of Krishna. Krishna says that all living entities come from him. No, he's the seed-giving father. He is Sarva Loka Maheshwaram. He is the supreme proprietor, and other things he claims in the Bhagavad Gita. Also, we saw that in the previous class. We saw a few slides. So what this statement means is everyone follows my path. What this means is that everything is under the jurisdiction of Krishna. Nothing is working independent from him. Only when he sanctions can anything take place. The Bhagavatam actually describes that the wind blows out of fear of Krishna. The sun shines out of fear of Krishna. So this is what the statements mean, that everything is under the jurisdiction, just as how if there is a king and whatever is happening in the kingdom is under the jurisdiction of the king. Now within that kingdom, of course, each one has their minute independence to do what they want to do. For example, a farmer may choose, I want to sow the seeds of a mango tree, or I want to sow the seeds of bitter melon, or what I want to do with my field. So that minute independence people have within the kingdom, but ultimately everything is under the jurisdiction of the king. So in the same way, we have minute independence, right? Whether we want to choose to surrender to the Lord or we choose to surrender to our senses. We want to try and enjoy independent from the Lord, or we want to enjoy with the Lord. So that minute independence we do have, no doubt, but still everything is under the jurisdiction of the Lord. This is what the statement means. Everyone follows my path means everything is under the jurisdiction of Krishna. Okay. And we ended the previous class with describing the deity worship. We saw this very nice video by His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj. I would like to put the video again so that we can refresh our memories. But before that, please tell me who can read today.
I can read, Mataji.
Okay, thank you, Jagrati.
God is unlimited and independent. To say he cannot appear in the deity form is to limit him. Legitimate deity worship, according to the Vedas, is a science in which the Lord is called with devotional rites to appear in designated forms. Everything emanates from the Lord. All material elements are the Lord's energy. By his will, he may choose to appear in his own energy as a deity to help us focus our minds and senses in loving servitude. Just as electricity manifests in a light bulb to radiate light, so God can permeate the deity with his presence. Electricity is invisible to the naked eye, and the bulb by itself gives light only when the electrical energy infuses the bulb with its presence. Then we can see and feel the light. In a similar way, the Lord may appear in the tangible form of a deity to help us see and feel his presence and reciprocate with our love.
Patram pushpam phalam toyam yo me bhaktya prayachati tadaham bhakti upartam ashnami prayatatmanaha.
So Maharaj explains that the Lord chooses to come in the form of the deity. What services we perform to the deity, we get the benefit. It's not that we are worshipping wood or stone or metal. We are worshipping God. The Lord chooses to accept worship even in the form of a deity. Why? For our own benefit, so that we can focus our mind and our senses. Because when we see the deity, we are engaging our senses, right? When we see the deity, we engage our sense of sight. When we smell the flowers or the incense that is offered to the deity, we engage our sense of smell. When we eat prasad, we are engaging our sense of taste. Like that, we are able to engage our senses when we do Murti Puja, or when we see the deity, when we admire the beauty of the deity in the temples. That's why the deities are so beautifully decorated in the temples. Okay, so it is for our own benefit that the Lord agrees to be worshipped in the form of a deity, because we are not yet qualified to be able to see the Lord face to face. So continuing from this point, we are going to discuss a couple of histories where the Lord has reciprocated in the form of a deity. So the story of Sakshi Gopal is there in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Sakshi Gopal is a deity that is there in Orissa, in the state of Orissa. If you travel from Bhubaneswar to Puri, on the way, you can visit this temple. Even today, the deity is there, and this deity is called Sakshi Gopal, the temple of Sakshi Gopal. Now, the history goes is that there were two Brahmanas who went on a pilgrimage. One was elderly gentleman and the other one was a young Brahmana. So during the pilgrimage, the young Brahmana had helped this elderly Brahmana in various tasks, activities during their pilgrimage. So the elderly Brahmana was pleased with the service, and he told him that I will give my daughter's hand in marriage to you. And then the young Brahmana said that you say this in front of the deity. So there was this deity, that time the deity was called Gopal. And he said, yes, I promise in front of this deity Gopal that I will give my daughter's hand in marriage to you. Now he returned, each one went to their homes, the pilgrimage has come to an end. And then the family of the elderly Brahmana tells him that, no, we cannot give our daughter's hand in marriage to that young Brahmana because they found him not appropriate for their daughter in some ways. So they said that, no, we do not agree to this. And therefore, the elderly Brahmana also did not fulfill the promise that he gave to the young Brahmana. So then the young Brahmana, he went to this temple, he went to the deity of Gopal, and he told Gopal that you are the witness that this promise was made to me. And therefore, now you have to stand witness. You have to speak, and you have to tell them that this promise was indeed made to me, and now he is breaking his promise. So now the deity Gopal started to speak to this young Brahmana, and he said that, you see, I'm only a deity. I'm here, and I cannot walk, because he wanted him to walk all the way to that village where the elder Brahmana was staying, and tell the residents and tell the family that this elderly Brahmana had promised this particular marriage. So the deity said, I'm a deity, I'm here in the temple, I cannot walk. And that time the young Brahmana told him, well, if you can talk, you can also walk. And he said, no, you have to walk with me. And then the deity agreed. He said, okay. Gopal said, okay, I agree to come with you, but you walk ahead of me, I'll walk behind you on the condition that you will not turn back. The minute you turn back, he said, I will freeze. So the young Brahmana agreed, and then the young Brahmana was walking, and he could hear the sound of the anklets of Gopal behind him as he was walking. And just when he had reached the outskirts of the village of the elderly Brahmana, for some reason he turned, and that's where the deity immediately froze. And then anyway, they had almost reached the village. So all the villagers, they came and they saw this great spectacle that had happened. And then the elderly Brahmana agreed that, yes, I had indeed made this promise in front of this very deity that is standing here, actually. And then from that day onwards, this deity, this Murti came to be called as Sakshi Gopal. Sakshi means witness, right? Because he stood a witness to the promise, he came to be called as Sakshi Gopal. So this is one example of how the deity has reciprocated, because this young Brahman had so much faith, that this deity was a witness. In front of this deity, this promise was made. So he's going to accompany me, and he's going to prove that my words are not false. So this is the deity here. You can see, if you visit the temple, if you go to Orissa, this is one of the places that you must visit, the temple of Sakshi Gopal. Then another very nice history is the story of Gadadhar Pandit. Gadadhar Pandit was a personal associate of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he was only 48 years old when Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu departed, when he left the planet. Actually, he was young. 48 is not an age where one becomes quickly old, but because he was feeling so much separation from the Lord, He aged faster than one would expect at his age. And he aged so much that his body drooped, his back was drooping, and he was no more able to garland the deity of Tota Gopinath. Tota Gopinath was a deity that he was worshipping for many years. It was his fixed seva. And he would dress up the deity, garland the deity, decorate the deity every day. But now, because his body was arched, he was no longer able to garland the deity and perform his seva. So he prayed to Tota Gopinath that I'm not able to serve you any longer, and therefore I would wish to hand over this service to somebody else who can do it. And like that, he went to bed at night. Next morning, when he got up and he opened the altar, he saw that the deity was now in a sitting position. Actually, the deity was originally in a standing position, just as how you see the regular deities of Krishna in a standing position with the legs crossed. But then this deity was found in a sitting position. So actually, Tota Gopinath sat down in order to facilitate Gadadhar Pandit's seva so that he can continue with his service. So therefore, this sitting deity of Krishna is the only one of its kind in the world. Nowhere you will see a deity of Krishna sitting down. But here, if you go to this temple, which is in Jagannath Puri, this is another places that you must visit. The only sitting deity of Lord Krishna. He's called as Tota Gopinath. In the same place, you can see the tree under which Haridas Thakur every day would chant 300,000 names of the Lord. It's in the same area, right? In the same premises, in the same temple premises, you can also see the tree. That tree is actually completely hollow. If you see that tree under which Haridas Thakur would chant, it's completely hollow from the inside, but still the leaves are lush green. So that is another wonders, right? Spiritual wonders that you can see if you visit Jagannath Puri. Now, one may say that what's the big deal? Anybody can carve a deity sitting, and carve a deity of Krishna in the sitting position. But we must understand that those who make deities, they are people. I mean, those who are doing it from several generations, who are spiritually attached, belonging to Brahmana families, belonging to devotee families, when they make murtis, they make murtis only according to what the Shastras say. Because the Shastras describe exactly how Krishna is or how any other God is. So when they make murtis, they make only according to how Shastra describes it. They will not make murtis that are not according to the Shastric injunctions. So Shastra always shows Krishna in a standing position with his legs crossed, with the flute over his right shoulder, arms raised like that, no? So they will not make a murti, carve a sitting murti of the Lord. Of course, those who are professionals who are only doing it for money, nowadays they make all kinds of murtis. Like how during the World Cup, I had seen some photos of murtis of Lord Ganesh as a cricketer. So these things are made by people who make murtis only for money. But those who make it from several generations belonging to spiritual families, Vaishnava families, devotee families, Brahman families, they will not make such murtis. So therefore, this is the only sitting deity of Krishna in the world. The deity sat down in reciprocation to the problem that Gadadhar Pandit had, that he is not able to stretch his arms any longer to garland the deity. So even a deity reciprocates to the devotees, depending on our own faith that we have. So again, it's proportional. The more we surrender, the more the Lord will reciprocate. So now one may ask the question, if Krishna, the Supreme Lord, gives a soul whatever he wants, why don't more persons surrender to him? So Krishna says that as we surrender, he will reciprocate. So then why don't people surrender to Krishna then? Why do they worship others to fulfill their desires? May be one question that may come to one's mind. So this Krishna is going to offer in the next shloka. Let's hear the verse.
काङ्क्षन्तः कर्मणां सिद्धिं यजन्त इह देवताः क्षिप्रं हि मानुषे लोके सिद्धिर्भवति कर्मजा चातुर्वर्ण्यं मया सृष्टं सिद्धिर्भवति कर्मजा ज्ञानात् कृत्वापि न निबध्यते गतसङ्गस्य मुक्तिः.
Translation.
Men in this world desire success in fruitive activities, and therefore they worship the demigods. Quickly, of course, men get results from fruitive work in this world.
So what is Krishna saying? Why do people worship the devatas? Is because they desire success in fruitive activities. So see, when we discussed initially the Karma Kanda section of the Vedas, what did we say? That Karma Kanda section of Vedas talks about how we worship different personalities for different benefits. Like we discussed how if one wants good health, then one worships Surya Dev. If one wants financial success, or one wants to live an opulent life, then one worships Goddess Lakshmi. If one wants to do well in exams, then one worships Goddess Saraswati. Like that, if one wants a beautiful wife, then one worships Lord Shiva. If one wants a good husband, then one worships Goddess Durga. So like that, there are different methods given in the Karma Kanda section of the Vedas, the initial section of the Vedas, to fulfill material desires. So that's what Krishna is saying. Men in this world desire success in fruitive activities, which means we worship, but we want something in return, right? So that is fruitive activities. We want some fruit out of that. So therefore, they worship the demigods. Therefore, they worship the devatas. Quickly, of course, men get results from fruitive work in this world. So when we do such things, then the results are faster, are quicker. When we worship the devatas, the results are, we get quick results because the devatas are easy to please. They are very easy to please. In fact, one of Lord Shiva's name is Ashutosh. That word Ashutosh means that he is very easy to please. So devatas are easier to please. But in the case of Vishnu Tattva, it takes longer time. We will discuss why. Now, one may say that it's better, and so it's good to worship the different devatas for my different material necessities because I will get quick results. But if I'm going to worship Vishnu, when I say Vishnu Tattva, it means Krishna, Lord Ram, Narsimha Dev, Vamana, Varaha, Narsimha Dev. These are all Vishnu Tattvas, right? So when it takes time to worship Vishnu Tattva, so it's better, it's more in my favor to worship the devatas because I get quick results. But we should understand that what benedictions we get from the devatas are temporary. Why? Because the demigods themselves are temporary. Remember, we discussed how they are it's a post, right? When somebody is qualified for the post of a devata, Indra or Lord Brahma's post, when their time period comes to an end, then even that boon is not going to last eternally. But when we get a benediction from Vishnu Tattva, the benefit of that will last for us eternally. If Lord Brahma gives a boon, but Lord Brahma himself comes to an end after 100 of his years, his time period, then how can his boons last forever? That's not possible. That's why you'll see that the demons, they would prefer to worship the devatas. See, Ravan, he worshipped Lord Shiva. Hiranyakashipu worshipped Lord Brahma, and they got boons. Why the demons prefer to worship the devatas is because they want fruitive activities. They are not doing it out of love. Ravan did not worship Lord Shiva out of love for Lord Shiva, or Hiranyakashipu did not love Lord Brahma, and that's the reason why. No, it's because they wanted something in return, right? It's not love that is driving them to do that kind of tapasya, that kind of austerity. So they prefer to worship the devatas to get quick results, but then ultimately they were finished, right? They were killed by the Lord, because the boons of the devatas also will not last eternally. So eventually Ravan was killed by Lord Ram and Hiranyakashipu was killed by Narsimhadev. See, in the case of Vishnu Tattva, as we discussed, it takes time. Why it takes time is because when one worships Krishna for material benefit, he does obtain his desire, right? He does obtain his material desire also can be given by by the Lord, but first he will purify the heart of the person. Because he is going to first purify the heart of the person, therefore it takes some time. It's going to take a little longer. Now, in the case of Dhruv, when Dhruv Maharaj, when Dhruv as a 5-year-old, he followed the instruction of Narada Muni. His initial desire was, I want to have a kingdom greater than that of Lord Brahma, because his stepmother refused to allow him to sit on his father's lap. And he said that my son is going to be the next king, not you, because you have not taken birth from my womb. So that time Dhruv, he said that I want a kingdom even greater than, not only greater than that of my father, but even greater than that of Lord Brahma, he said. So that Dhruv's desire, initial desire, was a material desire. He wanted a planet greater than that of Lord Brahma. His desire was not a spiritual desire. So eventually the Lord appeared in front of him. After 6 months of tapasya of Dhruv, the Lord personally appeared to him face to face. But by that time, his desire was, his heart was purified of that desire. When Dhruv saw the Lord, he said that, I'm sorry that I desired that. But now I realize that what I actually desired was just broken pieces of glass. That's what Dhruv said. I actually desired only broken pieces of glass. Then he realized that how trivial or how small was his desire. He could have asked to go back to the spiritual world. He could have asked for bhakti. He could have asked for devotion, which is going to eternally make him enjoy in the abode of the Lord. But he wanted a planet that is greater than that of Lord Brahma, which is only a material desire. So therefore, like this, the Lord first purifies the heart, and then he will give you that desire. Therefore, it takes some time. But we see eventually it is for our own benefit. Now, did Dhruv get a planet better than that of Lord Brahma? Did he eventually get it or no?
Yes.
So what was the planet that he got? How was his desire fulfilled?
There is an Dhruva star by having a star.
Yes, Dhruva has his own planet, which we call as pole star, no? Dhruv Loka. So he has a planet within the material world, which is called, which we know as the pole star. And how is it better than the planet of Lord Brahma? Because Lord Brahma's planet is the highest in the material world, we discussed, right? So how is it even better than that of Lord Brahma? We know it as Dhruv Tara, pole star. So how is it better than that of the planet of Lord Brahma, Brahma Loka?
Is the Lord like at the door or something like that?
The Lord is at the door?
Like a keeper or something? I'm not sure. I could be wrong.
Okay, this planet is a spiritual planet within the material realm. That is the speciality of this planet of Dhruv. So when there is complete destruction, all the 14 planetary systems are inundated with water, and all this material world is destroyed. But
This planet doesn't destroy.
Even though the planet of Dhruv is within the material world, it is still a spiritual planet. It is not destroyed. So it is a spiritual planet within the material world, right? So therefore, this is even better than that of the planet of Lord Brahma, because even the planet of Lord Brahma at the time of complete destruction is inundated with water. So yes, Dhruva did get a planet better than that of even that of Lord Brahma. He did get his material desire fulfilled, but after his heart was purified. Let's go to 13.
तस्य ज्ञानावस्थितचेतसः यज्ञायाचरतः कर्म समग्रं प्रविलीयते.
According to the 3 modes of material nature and the work associated with them, the 4 divisions of human society are created by me. And although I am the creator of the system, you should know that I am yet the non-doer, being unchangeable.
So now Krishna is talking about the Varnashram system, that he has created. Now, one does have material desires. So what about those material desires that one has? So Krishna is saying, now Krishna is going to talk about a framework that he has provided. Now, within this framework, if one works within this framework, then one's desires, one's needs are automatically taken care of. So what is the system that he has created? He says that he has created 4 divisions of human society. So Krishna says here, the 4 divisions of human society are created by me. Now, what are these 4 divisions of human society? Is the Varnashram system. There are 4 Varnas and there are 4 Ashramas, right? What are the 4 Varnas? What are the 4 Varnas?
Are those Brahmana, Kshatriya?
Yes, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudra. These are the 4 Varnas. And what are the 4 Ashramas?
This one, like,
Grahastha.
The first is what? Grihastha ashram is third. First is
Yeah.
Brahmacharya.
Hmm.
Then, Grihastha is second. First is Brahmacharya, then Grihastha, then Vanaprastha, and then Sannyas, right? The 4 stages of life. So these are the 4 divisions that Krishna says that he has created. So this is the original caste system, not the modern day caste system. That is a corrupted version. But the original caste system of Vedic society is this: the division of the society based on the 4 Varnas and the 4 Ashramas. Now he has created the system based on what? Krishna says, very, very important. He says, Vibhagasa, he has divided this based on guna and karma. Based on one's qualities, based on guna, right? And karma, and the kind of work that one does. Krishna nowhere says janma. Nowhere based on the birth, one can be considered to be Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, or Shudra. So this division is based on guna and karma, based on one's nature and based on one's work. So the kind of work we do and the nature we have, that determines whether one is a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, or a Shudra. Just because somebody is born in a Brahmana family does not mean that he is a Brahmana. Or just because if one is born in a Shudra family does not mean that he is a Shudra. Okay. So this is based on one's nature and based on one's work. Sometimes now, unfortunately, now when the Varnashram system has become completely corrupted, what is happening is people are born in a Brahmin family, but they are not following Brahminical culture. They are taking to meat eating, intoxication, illicit sex, and gambling. But then they expect people to respect them because they are born in a Brahmin family. No, unless you don't do the work of a Brahmana, unless you don't have the nature of a Brahmana, you cannot be considered to be a Brahmana. Okay. On the other side, if one is born in a Shudra family, that does not mean that one should look down upon a Shudra. No, a Shudra can also elevate himself. He may be born in a Shudra family, but if he elevates himself by his work, by his nature, he shows the nature of a elevated Varna, then he should be given all due respect as a Brahmana. See, the Brahmanas are the priestly class. They are in the mode of goodness. They receive donations. The Kshatriyas are the administrators of the society. They are in the mode of passion and they impose taxes. The Vaishyas, they are the productive class, the business class, the farmers, cow protection, farming. This is their work. And they create wealth. They create wealth. They are in the mixed modes of passion and ignorance. Then the Shudras are the working class. They are the only ones who receive a salary. They are in the mode of ignorance. Now, what Krishna says is, if you have the quality of a Brahmana, then, or if you have if you do the work of a Brahmana, then you are a Brahmana, you are in the mode of goodness, and you can receive donations. Kshatriyas have a certain quality, right? They are more, Brahmanas have a certain quality. The Brahmanas are more intelligent, whereas the Kshatriyas are more about muscle power. Vaishyas are more, they have a very good business brain. they are very good at farming, they are very good at cow protection, they are good at generating wealth, right? So therefore they pay taxes, they create the wealth, and they are the ones who pay taxes to the Kshatriyas. Then the Shudras, they receive a salary, they are in the mode of, they only know how to receive an instruction and execute it. So therefore they are employed by the Kshatriyas or by the Vaishyas. Brahmanas, they do not receive a salary, they cannot demand money, they have to only live on donations. If somebody is a Brahmana's work is always something that is voluntary. One cannot say that, okay, I did this for you, so therefore you have to pay me so much. No, Brahmanas, they have to only receive donations, whatever people can voluntarily pay to them. The Kshatriyas are the one who can impose taxes like that. Okay. Now let's see, let's try to understand a little more about this Varnashram system. In this Varnashram system, the Brahmanas are considered to be the head of the society. They are the most intelligent class. The Kshatriyas are the arms, because they are all about, they give protection, right? So the arms is all about, you use your muscle power and all that stuff. So the Kshatriyas are the arms of the society. The Vaishyas are the stomach. It's the stomach that receives the food, and then the nutrition goes to all parts of the body. So like that, the Vaishyas are creating wealth and making the movement in the Varnashram system. And the Shudras are the legs of the society. Now, if we do not have the legs, we cannot move about. So therefore, we have services, different services, like we have artisans, painters, and so many other services that are required to be fulfilled in a society. A Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya needs the services of a Shudra. So therefore, the Shudras are the legs of the society. Now, one will not say that it's okay, you can cut off my legs and I can live only with my head and arms and stomach. No, we want our hands as much as we want our legs, as much as we want our head, as much as we want our stomach. So therefore, all four should be respected. In a perfect Varnashram system, all four are respected. All four are given their due respect. But of course, in one sense, if the head is chopped off, one cannot live anymore, one dies. But if the legs, one loses the legs, say in an accident, but one can still continue to live. So in that sense, yes, the Brahmanas are the most highly respected, but that doesn't mean that the Shudras can be disrespected. Okay, all four are equally required for the smooth working of a society. Just as how when we lose our legs, we continue to live, but still we are crippled, right? We cannot do the things that we can otherwise do. So Shudras also are important for the smooth working of the society. So if one works within this Varnashram system, say, as we discussed, it's according to one's nature, according to what we like to do. If somebody by nature loves to do business, or loves cow protection, or loves this, then he's by nature, he's a Vaishya, and he's doing the work also of a Vaishya, so he's happy. And by doing the work of a Vaishya, he's fulfilling the needs of a Brahmana, Kshatriya, and a Shudra. In the same way, a Brahman, he likes to teach, he likes to educate the society. So it's his nature, and he also does the work of educating the society. So he's happy, and his needs are automatically met because he receives donations from the other Varnas. So like that, if everybody follows this Varnashram system, then everybody's needs and requirements are automatically met. The society is functioning smoothly, and everybody is happy because they are working according to their nature. So there is no disharmony. This is the perfect system that Krishna created. Now coming to the four ashramas. So these are the four varnas, and here are the four ashramas. So it's the stages of life are divided. So as we discussed in the beginning of Kali Yuga, the average human life is 100 years. So 25 years are dedicated to student life, brahmacharya, where one practices celibacy. There is self-restraint. One studies and one worships the spiritual master. Guru Seva as written here. So children, they would go to a Gurukul, and they would worship the spiritual master like a menial servant. They would go to the forest, they would cut wood, they would bring wood. Then from that, the guru's wife would cook meals for them. It was like a boarding school under the guidance of the spiritual master. And then their needs, their food and everything was taken care of by the guru's wife, like that. So they would also know if suppose they are not under the protection of the parents and they have to go to the forest, then they know how to survive in the forest. That's how when the Pandavas, they went to the forest there, and when Lord Ramachandra also was banished from the kingdom, they knew how to survive in the forest because they had the training in their brahmacharya life. But if we were to be sent to the forest, we have no training, we would not be able to survive. probably not even for 2 days, right? So therefore, this training was given to them for the first 25 years of this self-restraint. They used to practice celibacy. Then 26 to 50 years married life, householder duties, service to other 3 orders. So a grihastha is the one who gives donation to the brahmacharya, vanaprastha, and sannyas. It's only the grihastha who's making money within these 4 ashramas, because vanaprastha is retired life, sannyasa is renounced life. So they are not making any money. Brahmachari, they are still students, so they are also not making any money. So it's the duty of a grihastha to give donations to the other 3 ashramas. Then 51st year, somebody's microphone needs to be muted. Okay. So where was I? Yeah, so 50 years of grihastha life, then 51st year is retired life. One has to dedicate to handing over the responsibilities to the next generation. See, previously the kings, as soon as there was a successful, not successful, but as soon as there was a successor who was worthy enough, then they would hand over the kingdom to them. It's not that they were holding on to their kingdom, holding on to their throne. Previously, the kings were Raja Rishis. They were saintly kings. So as soon as they saw a worthy successor, they would hand over. See, the Pandavas, after this war, they ruled the kingdom only for 36 years. And then Yudhishthira decided to walk up the Himalayas, right? And then his brothers and Draupadi also followed him. He crowned Maharaj Parikshit as the king, and he retired. It's not that they are holding on to their position, their kingdom, their throne. No, they would retire. So this is retired life. See, in Hindi, 51 is Ekyavan. So Ekyavan, that word one is already there in 51, saying that now it's time to retire and go to the forest, right? Hand over your responsibilities. So there is more emphasis on spiritual development. And then 76th year onwards is renounced life, completely renounced. In Vanaprastha, you're allowed to have contact with your family, but in the sannyas order, one is not allowed to have any contact with your family. I mean, you can have your wife with you in the Vanaprastha ashram, but in the sannyas, then you're not allowed to have your wife with you. So these are the 4 ashramas. So the Varnashram system divides a society according to 4 occupational duties and 4 orders of life. What is the purpose of this Varnashram system? Is to provide a structure which allows people to work according to their natural tendencies. So a Kshatriya always will have the tendency to fight, right? And therefore it's all divided to so that people can work according to their natural tendencies and organize society so that everyone, regardless of their position, makes spiritual advancement. People work in a cooperative spirit. So how can everyone make spiritual advancement? Is because just by doing your duty within the Varnashram system, you are following the instructions of the Lord. And therefore the Lord is pleased. Just as how Krishna told Arjuna that you are a Kshatriya, your duty is to fight. So you fight. And by fighting, Arjuna is going to please Krishna. So therefore, wherever you may be, whether you're a Shudra or a Vaishya or a Kshatriya or a Brahmana, if you do your duty within the Varnashram system, you can make spiritual advancement. The Varnashram system recognizes the natural talents and abilities of each person and provides work according to the person's qualities. The Varnashram system also recognizes that there are many different types of people who may not be spiritually inclined. So the Shudras are the ones who are least inclined spiritually. The Brahmanas are the ones who are most spiritually inclined, and the Shudras are the least spiritually inclined. So therefore, the Shudras actually never go to a Gurukul. They don't undergo any spiritual training because they are not interested. They are not spiritually inclined. So the Acharyas who advocate the Daiva Varnashram do not accept the proposition of Asura Varnashram. Now there is Daiva Varnashram and there is Asura Varnashram. What is Daiva Varnashram? Daiva Varnashram is what Krishna has just mentioned in this verse, the division of the society according to guna and karma. And what is Asura Varnashram is where the society is maintained. The society maintains that the social order of Varna is indicated by birth. So we said that what Krishna has established is not based on Janma, it's only based on Guna and Karma. But Asura Varnashram is when one thinks that the social order is indicated by birth. So this is what is happening nowadays, that just because somebody is born in a Brahmin family, he is considered to be a Brahmin. And just because somebody is born in a Shudra family, he is considered to be a Shudra. But that is Asura Varnashram. That is not Daiva Varnashram. That is not the Varnashram that Krishna has established. So here in the next few slides, we have the duties of each of the 4 Varnas. What are the duties of a Brahmana? This you can read when we share the slides. We are not going to go through it in detail. What are the duties of a Kshatriya? What are the duties of a Vaishya? And what are the duties of a Shudra? See, for a Shudra to marry, the only compulsory rite of passage. So there are different samskaras. We discussed previously, how there are samskaras, like we have the Garbhadhana samskara, then we have the Nama samskara, and we have the Vivaha samskara, and we have Vidyarambha samskara when one first receives knowledge. So like that, there are so many, or Antim samskara is the final rite. So there are so many rites that one has to follow in one's lifetime. But the only compulsory rite for a Shudra is marriage, Vivaha samskara, that they have to yes or yes do. All others are not compulsory for a Shudra, because remember, the Shudras are the ones who are least spiritually inclined. So Varnashram provides a social structure for spiritual development, thus enabling one to systematically develop Krishna consciousness. So this is how perfect this system is that Krishna has established. So it meets the needs of each one of us. It keeps all of us happy because we are working according to our nature, and also we can spiritually advance from whichever varna or whichever ashrama we are in. See examples in the past of some people who were born in a different varna, but they elevated themselves to a higher varna. Who is this on the screen? Who can recognize the personalities?
Krishna.
Victor and his wife.
Krishna, Vidura and his wife. So Vidura's wife is feeding Krishna what?
Peel of banana. When Krishna
Banana peel, right? She was so enchanted. See, Krishna had gone to Hastinapur as a peace messenger, and Duryodhan had invited Krishna to a royal feast. But Krishna refused the invitation of Duryodhan, and he accepted the invitation of Vidura. Now, Vidura was born from the womb of a maid servant, right? And he didn't have the right to the throne, like just as how Pandu or Dhritarashtra had, because his mother was a maid servant. But Krishna accepted the invitation of Vidura, and he went to Vidura's house. And Vidura's wife was so enchanted by Krishna that she was peeling the banana, she was throwing away the pulp, and she was giving him the banana peel. And Krishna was very happily eating the banana peel. So if Krishna is so varna conscious or so conscious of high caste and low caste, he would have not refused Duryodhan's royal feast and come to the house of Vidura. You see? Why? Because Vidura has actually elevated himself. Vidura always stuck to dharma. He never gave up on dharmic principles. He never gave up on religious principles. So therefore, he has elevated himself, and he is a very, very respectable personality, irrespective of his birth, coming from the womb of a maid servant. Right? So it's not janma that matters, but guna and karma is what matters. Who is this? Or who are these personalities?
Lakshman, Shabri.
Ram, Lakshman and Shabri. So Shabri also, she belonged to a lower varna, but Lord Ram ate even the half-eaten berries of Shabri. I mean, if somebody gives us a half-eaten fruit and tells us you eat, we may not feel very good about it. We may not want to eat it. But when Lord Ramachandra has eaten the half-eaten berries of Shabri, because she lived her life as an ascetic, she also elevated herself. Somebody who was born in a Kshatriya family but is actually respected as a great Brahmana was? Who is his personality? His name starts with a V.
Vyasadev.
Not Vyasadev.
Vedavyas.
Vishwamitra.
Vishwamitra, yes, Vishwamitra, very nice. And who this personality who was born in a Kshatriya family, who was born in a Brahmana family, but he did the work of a Kshatriya. Parashuram, yes. Who is this personality who was born in a demon family?
Prahlad.
Prahlad, isn't it? He was born in a demon family, but he was personally embraced by Lord Narasimhadev. Why? Because he was a devotee. He elevated himself. Although his birth, his janma was that of a demon family. Now we come to Vyasadeva. He was born from the womb of a fisherwoman, Satyavati. Yes, but he is greatly respected and as a great devotee, as a great Brahmana, Vyasadeva. So it's not janma that matters, but guna and karma is the point we are making here. Who is this person who actually was a dacoit and he wanted to loot Narada Muni and he actually rushed to even attack him?
Valmiki.
Valmiki, yes. And then Valmiki suggested that he should chant the holy name of Lord Ram. And then he became so qualified that he actually wrote the Ramayana. So again, janma does not matter, but guna and karma. So when he was a dacoit, he was called Ratnakar. So this is his journey from Ratnakar to Valmiki. Who is this personality who used to half kill the animals? He used to kill the animals, but half kill them because he used to get joy and thrill by seeing the animals suffer to death. Mrigari. Yes, Mrigari the hunter. But eventually Narada Muni also preached to him. And see, Narada Muni is actually empowered to preach. He is a Shaktavesha avatar. He is empowered to preach. Anyone who comes in contact with Narada Muni becomes a devotee. So Narada Muni is so empowered that he preached to so many people, and Brigari was one of them. And then Brigari, from coming to that state of half killing the animals and getting joy in seeing the animal bleed to death slowly, and then he completely transformed. And then when Narada Muni went to visit him again with another friend of his, and there were ants on the way, and Brigari was walking and he was very careful that I don't want to step on any of these ants. I don't want to kill these ants even unknowingly. So he was carefully putting the ants away so that he doesn't step on the ants. So what a change, Brigari. So then he also elevated himself from being this gross hunter to a great devotee. Who was this person? His father was a great Brahmana, but he had demoniac
Ravan.
Ravan, isn't it? Ravan. Actually, you see, Ravana was from a great lineage. Ravana's father was Vishravas. Vishravas was the son of Pulatsya. And Pulatsya was a mind-born son of Lord Brahma, a Manasaputra of Lord Brahma. So his great-grandfather is actually none other than Lord Brahma himself. But although he came from this great lineage, he was a demon by nature. So therefore, he was eventually killed by Lord Ram. Who is this child? We discussed him.
Narada Muni.
Yes, Narada Muni. In the previous class, we discussed how before he became the great sage Narada Muni, he was the son of a maid servant. His father died early and his mother used to work as a maid, and then he would eat the remnants of the great sages. And like that, when his mother passed away, he didn't get disoriented. He took to bhakti, he took to devotional service, he meditated, and then eventually he became the great sage Narada Muni in his next life. Now question, we are discussing the Varnashram system. So to which Varna does Lord Krishna belong? Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra?
Brahmana.
Brahmana.
Kshatriya?
Kshatriya.
None of the above.
None of the above. Then
All.
which does it belong to?
Maybe Kshatriya. But I know he's not a Brahmin. He cannot be a Brahmin.
Okay.
All. Can I say all? Because he created everything.
Okay. Okay, let's discuss. When Krishna was pulling the chariot of Arjuna, what work was he doing? Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra?
Shudra.
That time he did the work of a Shudra, isn't it? Pulling the
Oh,
chariot.
you just
chariot
gave the
driver.
answer. Okay, it's all of the above.
So, and then when he spoke the Bhagavad Gita to Krishna, what work was he doing?
Brahman.
Isn't it? When he lived in Dwaraka as a king with 16,108 wives.
Kshatriya.
Kshatriya, isn't it? And when did he do the work of a Vaishya?
Vaishya.
When did he do the work of a Vaishya?
When he was in
with
When he went as a Shanti Dut.
no.
No, Vaishya is cow protection. Remember cow
Oh.
protection, farming.
when he
When he was
was
small,
a childhood.
Yeah, he used to take the cows and to graze them, isn't it? As a child, he would, in Vrindavan, he would take the cows and the calves to graze. So that time he did the work of a Vaishya. So Krishna is beyond the Varnashram system. He's beyond the Varnashram system. Now, what about a devotee of the Lord? In which class, to which class does he belong? A devotee of the Lord. Brahmana. Then, anybody else wants to try?
Can you repeat the question? What is the varna of a devotee you're asking?
Yes.
What is the varna of a devotee or a Vaishnava you're asking?
Devotee is Vaishnava only, no?
Then it doesn't have a varna, because a Vaishnava has no varna. Vaishnava is like above all, but it belongs to a Brahman.
So even a Vaishnava does not belong to any of these four varnas. Even a Vaishnava is beyond the Varnashram system. Why? Because a Vaishnava may give a class. At that time, he's doing the work of a Brahmana. A Vaishnava, when it comes to his guru being abused or another Vaishnava being abused, then he can do the role of a Kshatriya. He can come to protect the Lord. He can come to protect his guru. He can come to protect the other devotees, right? He can, Vaishnava can also engage in cow protection, or Vaishnava can also engage in farming because he wants to grow. See, Prabhupada would always say that temples should be independent. So many of our temples where the space allows, like Sri Mayapur Dham and all, they have their own land and they grow their own crops. They have their own agriculture, and they also have their own Goshala. So cow protection is going on, farming is going on. So a devotee can work in the farm, a devotee can work protecting the cows. So that time he's doing the work of a Vaishya. And he can also sweep and swab the temple room. He can even clean the bathroom in the temple. That time he's doing the work of a Shudra. But so therefore, the Lord and the devotees of the Lord are beyond the Varnashram system. So that is called as Daiva Varnashram, the transcendental system of the four social orders and the four spiritual orders. So the devotee of the Lord and the Lord, they belong to Daiva Varnashram, the transcendental system of the four social orders. Okay, so here we have pictures of how Krishna has done his work in all the four Varnas. Now let's go back to the shloka to discuss another point. So now Krishna says, although I am the creator of the system, you should know that I am yet the non-doer, being unchangeable. So Krishna is saying that although he has created the system, he does not interfere. He's aloof, right? He does not interfere in the system. So therefore he's saying he's the non-doer. Now, taking this ahead, in 3.27, Krishna said, the spirit soul, bewildered by the influence of false ego, thinks himself the doer of activities that are in actuality created by the three modes of material nature. So here he's saying that we, the spirit soul, we are not the doers of the activities. On the other side, here he's saying that Krishna is not the doer. So who is the doer is the question. Okay, so we have to understand, because one may think that this is very confusing. It appears to be contradictory, right? But then we have to understand this. Let's read this paragraph here. Krishna sometimes takes one side of this issue and sometimes the other, as we see here, chapter 3 and chapter 4. At times, he wants to emphasize our position as tiny souls who should not be falsely proud of our prowess or think ourselves rightfully attached to the fruits of our activities. So when Krishna wants to emphasize that we are insignificant, then he says that you are not the doer. On the other side, when he wants to emphasize, or when he wants us to take responsibility for our actions, then he will say that, yes, you are the doer. Because if Krishna says that you are not the doer, then one may say that, okay, then I'm committing this sin, but I'm not the doer of the sin. I'm not doing the sin because I'm not the doer, so I don't take the responsibility of my action. But no, Krishna wants us to take the responsibility of our action. If we commit sin, then we get a particular reaction. So we have to take responsibility. So therefore, Krishna says, yes, the living entity at that time, you are the doer. That time he stresses that point. And on the other side, when he wants to show that you are insignificant, you are not the one who controls anything. Everything is under the jurisdiction of the Lord. That time he says that you are not the controller, you are not the doer. So it depends on what is the point that Krishna wants to emphasize. But what is how to look at it from the broader angle of vision is, how to understand this is, it all begins, any activity begins by our own desire. First of all, we desire to act in a certain way. Okay, and then the Lord sanctions it. We may desire so many things, but the Lord has to sanction it. So we desire, the Lord sanctions, and material nature facilitates, gives us the facility to carry out that activity. But of course, material nature will facilitate it only when the Lord sanction it. So let's try to understand this with an example. Now, let's say I want to purchase. Actually, I never would want to, but let's say I want to purchase a cigarette. Okay. So now it's a sinful activity, right? To purchase a cigarette, but the living entity has desire to purchase a cigarette. So now the government, although it says on the packet, no, cigarette smoking is injurious to health, but still, because the living entity has desired it, material nature has facilitated it. The facility is there for one to go and purchase this from the shop. It's there. It's available in the supermarkets. You can go and purchase it, right? And the government of the country has sanctioned the sale of cigarettes. So the living entity desires, material nature facilitates, and the Lord sanctions. But now the reaction that is going to come by smoking that cigarette, now there is going to be disease. If one is a chain smoker, it can lead to lung cancer, and so many other effects are there. Now, who is responsible if this chain smoker now has lung cancer? Can he blame the government that you sanctioned the sale of the cigarettes? That's why today I have this disease. Can he sue the government for that? No, because he is the one who chose to go and purchase and smoke that cigarette. So he has to take the responsibility of that action. Now, at the same time, if the government did not sanction the sale of the cigarettes, there was no way this living entity could go and purchase that cigarette, isn't it? He can only purchase it because the government has sanctioned the sale of it in the country. So like that, the Lord sanctions, material nature facilitates, the living entity desires. So responsibility of the action is on us only. The reaction, that comes from Krishna. Now let's take this example. A drunkard abuses a friend because girlfriend left him and left him after his misbehavior. And he says, he gives this excuse that I didn't do it. It was alcohol that made me do it. This is his excuse. He is not willing to take the responsibility for his action. Now, let's see first of all, what is the right thing that he should have done? The right thing is you have to remain brahmachari. Vedic system is you cannot have a girlfriend. You are either single or you are married. Okay, no girlfriends in Vedic system. So the right thing to do, following scriptures, is remain brahmachari. His wrong action was what? He had a girlfriend. Okay, now that he has a girlfriend, what was the right thing that he should have done? He has to behave good with a girlfriend, but instead he has misbehaved with his girlfriend. That's the other wrong thing that he did. Now, after misbehaving, now he knows that he has a problem with his behavior. What is the right thing that he should do? He has to go to a counselor. But instead of that, what did he do? He took to alcohol. Now, okay, he's taking alcohol. What is the right thing that he should do? At least you keep your mouth shut. But instead, he has abused his girlfriend. And then he says that it was alcohol that made me do it. So you see in this one statement, there are so many wrong actions for which he has to take responsibility. But people say, no, I didn't do it. I didn't say it. I didn't abuse you. I was under the effect of the alcohol. Alcohol made me do it. No, we have to take responsibility for our actions. Let's go to 14.
Brahmarpanam Brahmahavihi Brahmagno Brahmanahutam.
Once again, I think it skipped here.
Last shloka was also different.
Oh, is it? Oh,
Yeah.
it's got skipped here. Oh, I'm so sorry. So we'll hear 13 and 14 together then.
Siddhir karmaja chaturvarnyam maya srishtam gunakarma vibhagashah tasya kartaram mam vidyakartaram avyayam namam karmani limpanti name karma phale spruha iti mam yo abhijanati karmabhirna sabadhyate.
Translation: There is no work that affects me, nor do I aspire for the fruits of action. One who understands this truth about me also does not become entangled in the fruitive reactions of work.
So this is the same thing that we made, that Krishna is above the Varnashram system. Therefore, Krishna is saying there is no work that affects me, nor do I aspire for the fruits of action. So Krishna is above the Varnashram system. He is not, it's not that Krishna has to do the work of a Brahmana or he has to do the work of a Kshatriya. No, he's above. So what is Krishna saying? One who understands this truth about me also does not become entangled in fruitive reactions of work. So if we understand that Krishna is above the Varnashram system, then even we can be above the Varnashram system. We do not get entangled in the fruitive reactions of work. That's why Krishna and his devotee both are above the Varnashram system. 15.
Evam yatva kritam karma purvairapi mumukshubhihi Kuru karmaiva tasmat tvam purvaihi purvataram kritam.
Translation: All the liberated souls in the ancient times acted with this understanding of my transcendental nature. Therefore, you should perform your duty following in their footsteps.
So now Krishna is saying that you don't act individually, you don't act according to what you think you should do, but you should follow the footsteps of the previous liberated souls. See, Krishna is saying all the liberated souls in the ancient times acted with this understanding of my transcendental nature. Therefore, you, O Arjuna, you also should perform your duty following in their footsteps. So this is again very, very important. We have made this point so many times now, how we have to follow the past acharyas, how we have to follow the past devotees and not act according to our own, what we think is right. We may think so many things, but we need to be under the guidance of a superior. In spiritual life, it's very important to have someone above you whom from whom we are going to take instructions, from whom we can take advice, whom we should consult always in especially in times of great confusion. Like how when Arjuna was confused, he consulted a senior authority. He consulted with Krishna what should be the right thing to do. So Krishna is saying that you should also follow in the footsteps of the past liberated souls. See, action in Krishna consciousness has to be executed in accordance with the examples of previous bona fide devotees. This is recommended in the 15th verse. Why such action should be independent will be why such action should not be independent will be explained in the text to follow. So Krishna is saying don't act independently, but follow the examples of the previous bona fide devotees. Now, why? Krishna is going to explain the next shloka. Let's go for it. This is in section 3.
Kim karma kimakarmeti kavayopyatra mohitaha tatte karma pravakshami yajñatva mokshase shubha.
Translation: Even the intelligent are bewildered in determining what is action and what is inaction. Now I shall explain to you what action is, knowing which you shall be liberated from all misfortune.
So why we should not act independently is because Krishna says that even the intelligent are bewildered in determining what is action and what is inaction, what is karma and what is akarma. We discussed previously karma, akarma, and vikarma, isn't it? Now we will see it again. to refresh our memories. But Krishna is saying that you just follow the examples of the past devotees, past acharyas. Why? Because even the intelligent are bewildered in determining what is the right thing to do. Now, Arjuna, what do you think? He was intelligent or he was foolish?
Intelligent.
Intelligent. Of course, Arjuna is intelligent. He was Dronacharya's best student, isn't it? He was very sincere. He was very intelligent. But even Arjuna was bewildered on the battlefield. What to do? Should I fight or should I not fight? He was completely bewildered, isn't it? He didn't know. His intelligence he was so clouded. He said that his Gandhi was slipping, right? His body was shivering. He started to cry. So even an intelligent person like Arjuna was bewildered. So what about us then? So such situations are going to always present themselves in our life as well. So therefore, we should not act independently, but we should always consult, or we should always follow the examples of the past devotees. Let's go to 17.
कर्मणो ह्यपि बोद्धव्यं च विकर्मणः अकर्मणश्च बोद्धव्यं गहना कर्मणो गतिः.
Translation: the intricacies of action are very hard to understand. Therefore, one should know properly what action is, what forbidden action is, and what inaction is.
So now see, to understand the continuity, Krishna says, don't act independently. Follow the examples of the past acharyas. Why? Because even the intelligent people can be bewildered. Now, why even the intelligent people can be bewildered is because here Krishna says the intricacies of action are very hard to understand. Very, very intricate. You cannot understand the law of karma. Why somebody is suffering? Why this is happening to me? Why so-and-so has led such a nice and pious life and still he's going through so much suffering? Why did so-and-so get such a big disease? Why so-and-so was robbed? Why my house was set on fire? So we cannot understand karma. Okay, the intricacies of action are very hard to understand, Krishna says. So actually, don't try to figure it out because we cannot understand. Then Krishna says one should know properly what action is, what forbidden action is, and what inaction is. What action is, what is karma, what forbidden action is, what is vikarma, and what inaction is, that is akarma. So what is akarma, what is vikarma, and what is karma?
Mataji,
So
Hare Krishna.
Yes.
So akarma, vikarma, and karma. So basically, if we are doing wrong and we are Brahman, so that means that we don't know what akarma, vikarma, and karma is.
If one is a Brahman,
Yeah, if one is a Brahman initiated and they're doing and they're doing something wrong, that means they don't know these three things.
see, there's a difference between knowing and doing it. There is a difference between knowledge and application of the knowledge. As a Brahmana, probably one knows, but is not applying the knowledge. See, application is a whole different thing than knowing. Like Ravan knew what is right and wrong, but he did not apply the knowledge. So in case of a Brahman, because he's a Brahman is supposed to be educated. He probably knows, but he is not applying the knowledge.
So basically, like Ravan had moksha because Ravan killed him. Ram killed him, and because any so if we so the application that we do, like we know everything is wrong and we do it even then. So that means this knowledge that akarma, vikarma, and karma is not completely like absorbed in us. The understanding of it.
Yeah, that's what I said. Now, there is a difference. See, one may know so many things, but application is a whole different thing together. I may know. See, that's what, see, Arjuna asked a very crucial question in chapter 3, right? What did he say? What is it that forces one to perform actions even though unwillingly? So that time Krishna said it's lust. So there are things that we don't want to do. We know it is wrong, but still we are forced to do it because of lust, Krishna said. Remember in 3.36, I think it was that question.
Yes, yes.
So application, see, there are two things. One is jnana and the other is vijnana. Jnana means knowledge. Vijnana is application of the knowledge. Everybody, one may have the knowledge, but one may be lacking the application of knowledge. But both are important. We cannot have jnana without vijnana. We cannot have vijnana without jnana. What is the use of having knowledge if we don't apply the knowledge? On the other hand, how can we apply the knowledge if we don't have the knowledge only in the first place? So both are important, jnana and vijnana. Knowledge and application of knowledge, both have to be there. Does it answer your question?
Yes, yes, Mataji, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so what is karma? Karma is action. It is pious and it is as per Shastra. So it is not sinful. Okay, it is as per Shastra, karma. But it is pious action. It is not devotional service. It will take me to higher planetary systems, but it will not give me moksha. Okay, that is karma. Karma are forbidden action. They are against Shastra. So they are sinful. They will give me a negative balance in my spiritual bank balance. Okay, karma, forbidden actions, sinful actions. Now, akarma is inaction. Akarma means devotional activities. Akarma means that action which will not give me a reaction. So because I don't have a reaction, therefore I can go back home, back to Godhead. Okay, as long as I have some balance in my spiritual bank balance, whether it is a plus or a minus, karma will give me a plus. Vikarma will give me a minus. Now, as long as there is a balance, I cannot completely close my accounts. There is some balance remaining, isn't it? So pious activities means I have to take birth again to enjoy. Vikarma means I have to take birth again to suffer. Now, akarma means the balance is zero. Therefore, I can close my account and I can go back home, back to Godhead. So that is akarma, in action. Okay. Now in the Bhagavad Gita, there are certain sections where akarma also means non-performance of prescribed duties, means you're not doing your duties. Okay. That is another meaning of the word akarma, but mostly this word akarma is used to mean devotional activities, those activities that do not bring any reaction. So we have to understand this concept, karma, akarma, and vikarma. Yeah, Shivani, you raised your hand.
Yes, Mataji. Can you please give example for all of these?
We have examples in the upcoming slides. Okay. See here, karma, akarma, and vikarma. Student goes home. Student leaves home to go to school and gains knowledge. It is karma. Now, vikarma is what? Student. Oh Lord, one second. Student leaves home to go to school, but goes to cinema instead. Now that is vikarma, that is forbidden, both by parents and by the school. Now, akarma is student leaves home to go to school, but after school goes to the temple for darshan. That is akarma. That will not bring any reaction because that is a devotional activity. Other example, karma, man goes to work, earns money through honest means and uses it to take care of his family. So he is doing his duty. Vikarma, he goes to work, earns money, but uses the money for gambling. So that is prohibited. Then akarma, man goes to work, earns money, and then uses the money to sponsor the temple feast. So that is akarma. That will not bring any reaction. Other example, Arjuna fights the war to fulfill his duty as a Kshatriya. Vikarma, he fights the war to enjoy kingdom at the cost of death of his teachers and elders. Akarma, he fights the war to establish dharma under the instruction of Krishna. So therefore, there is no reaction for Arjuna. So like that, you can read the other examples in your free time. So here you have some examples of karma, vikarma, and akarma. Now let's take this slide. Akarma is for whom? For Krishna, because devotional activities are meant to please the Lord. So what is the attitude for a person who's doing akarma, devotional activity? There is no desire for personal sense gratification. You are just acting eternally as a servant of the Lord. And what is the result? You can get transcendental, liberating happiness that will take you back home, back to Godhead, back to the spiritual world. You can enjoy unlimited, eternal happiness. Now, vikarma. Vikarma is for whom? I put myself in the center with attachment to the self. What is the attitude? I am acting against Shastra. Therefore it is sinful. So what is the result? It will bind me to the material world. It brings me bad reaction. So I will suffer. Then karma is again also with attachment to the self, but it is according to the Shastric injunction. So this is within the framework of the Varnashram system. But although I'm acting within the varnashram system, I put myself in the center. So therefore, it's attachment to the self. So because it is within Shastra, it is not sinful. Therefore, it gives me a good reaction. So I can enjoy in the heavenly planets, or I may have a good birth. Even on earth, I may be born in a very rich, opulent family, or I may have very good health, or I may be very good looking, or I may be very intelligent, like that. No, good reaction. But it will still bind me to the material world because I have to come here to enjoy the good results. So this is karma, akarma, and vikarma. Now this act of receiving money, what do you think is akarma, karma, or vikarma?
This is karma.
This is karma. Anybody else wants to try? Anybody who receives
Depends
money is
on
karma?
how we
I
use
think
the money.
depend on how
It
we
depends
use.
for what you're getting it from.
It determines how I use it will determine whether it is karma, akarma, or vikarma. The act of receiving money itself cannot determine it. It depends on what is my consciousness. What am I going to use the money for? If I receive money and I donate it to the service of Krishna, then it is
Vikarma.
Vikarma.
no, vikarma is sinful action.
No,
Akarma,
it is
akarma.
Akarma, akarma.
Yes, akarma. Devotional activities are akarma. Okay, so if I receive money and I use it in the service of Krishna, let's say I sponsor a feast in the temple or I donate it for Rath Yatra, then it is akarma. Now, if I receive money and I use it to gamble, then it is
Vikarma.
Vikarma.
vikarma. And if I take the money and I use it for my own, I like to buy
Karma.
clothes for myself, and then that it is karma.
Karma.
See, what counts is the consciousness. Consciousness counts. So for a Mayavadi would see this as karma because a Mayavad philosopher is focusing more on renunciation. Okay, his whole focus is renunciation. I want to renounce everything. But a devotee, he says, whatever I receive doesn't matter, but I will use it in the service of the Lord. So a devotee is ready to accept even millions and millions of dollars, no problem, but he will use it in the service of the Lord. A Mayavad sannyasi does not want to receive anything because his focus is only renunciation. So there is a pastime of Srila Prabhupada. You know, when Srila Prabhupada was in the West, once a Mayavad philosopher got himself especially photographed that somebody is giving him money and he's refusing the money. So he got himself photographed like that and it was published, okay, that way. And why? Because his focus is I'm renounced. I don't want money. At that time, when Prabhupada saw this photo, Prabhupada said that I'm willing to get photographed, even receiving a lot of money. I have no issues. Why? Because he is going to use that money in the service of the Lord. So what matters is your consciousness.
And if someone is donating to poor,
Yeah, see, this is very, very risky proposition because if you donate to the poor and the poor man is going to use it to buy beef, then you will take the karma for it. So social services also you should do with intelligence. If you are donating to a poor man and that poor man, he is not a devotee, he has no shastric knowledge, he just goes to the shop and he purchases a burger with beef, then you are going to have to share the karma of that because you
It's
were the one
called
who facilitated it.
Vikarma.
Okay, so whenever you give to the poor also with intelligence, you should not if you want to help the poor, it's better to give them prasad. You purchase the product, offer it to the Lord and give them prasad, but don't give money because he may use it for sinful activities. Okay. Okay, so the sinful activities, what are the 4 sins? No gambling, no intoxication, no illicit sex, and no meat eating. Why? Because these are breaking the 4 pillars of religion. We have discussed this before. The 4 pillars of religion are honesty, self-discipline, purity, and compassion. Satyam, tapas, saucham, and daya. And when we engage in these 4 sinful activities, we are breaking these 4 pillars. Therefore, if we want the 4 pillars of religion to stand well, then we should not engage in these sinful activities. Any activity in these 4 activities is vikarma, sinful activities. Okay, we'll stop here. We'll continue in the next class if Krishna so sanctions. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai.
Jai.
It is a
श्री राम माता जी की जय, कोटि कोटि
जय
दंडवत प्रणाम। जय जय पटाका महाराज की जय,
जय
श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। थैंक यू माता जी,
जय
कोटि कोटि दंडवत प्रणाम टू योर सिंसियर सेवा। हरे
Thank
कृष्णा।
you. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you for
Thank you,
attending.
Mataji. Thank
Okay.
you.
Do we have any questions?
So Mataji, 29th Kartik starts, right? Next Sunday.
Yes.
Thank
At
you.
least in this part of the world, yes.
Yeah, for us
Uh,
as well.
Yeah, and for those who are in Santiago, I would like to say that 18th is a Rath Yatra. Please do attend the Rath Yatra. Very, very auspicious. Please come and pull the ropes of Lord Jagannath. If you pull the ropes of Lord Jagannath, then at the time of death, Jagannath will pull you towards him, right? With that consciousness, we can come and pull the ropes of Lord Jagannath. So please do come and take part in this festival. What else do we need to discuss?
Mataji, share the pictures from the Rath Yatra with us.
Yes, I will do.
Can you also share the YouTube channel for the Yath Yatra? Like once it's recorded and everything, we could see it later.
Yes, yeah, whatever recording is there put up by the devotees, I will definitely share. Okay, anything else we need to discuss? Pavani, you have raised your hand.
Yes, yes. I don't know. Actually, for Vaishnava Brahmins, they leave some hair. I mean, they shave their head and leave some hair at the back, right? What is the meaning of that? Why do they do it that way?
Okay, so the thing is that at the time of death, the Lord pulls you with that tuft of hair towards him, is one of the explanations.
Okay. Okay. Thanks.
And there are
Mataji,
some, yeah.
Sorry, go ahead. I'll ask after you.
And I'm sure there are a couple more explanations, but I don't remember very correctly. I will have to check. But this is one of the explanations.
Okay. Hare Krishna.
Mataji,
Yeah.
my question was the same almost. So, Prabhuji's, like in ISKCON, they keep Shika, like you explained. So, why are women forbidden from doing that? And I've seen some women, like, who've done that, like
Yeah,
in
women
Mayapur.
are not required. It's not required for a woman to see the Vedic system is in a perfect Vedic system. What would happen is everybody in the family is a devotee, and the woman takes half of her husband's karma by default. So the husband is a devotee, he's a Vaishnava, and he's performing devotional services. And by default, the woman gets half. And the woman, by serving, the woman serves her husband, and she also follows her husband. So because the husband is following everything, the wife by default gets half the benefit. Okay, but of course, in Kali Yuga, this system is the Varnashram system has collapsed. Right now, we don't have a Varnashram system in the pure form. So this is not what Prabhupada taught us. He, of course, wanted women also to do devotional service, men also to do, each one has to do devotional service. It's not that women do less because they by default get half of their husband's karma. But in a perfect Vedic system, this was what, because everybody is a devotee, the man is leading from the front. The wife, by serving the husband, she would follow the footsteps of the husband, and she would, that's why the wife would enter sati with the husband, because she would follow the husband wherever, even in the afterlife, like that.
So, like now we are in Kali Yuga, so we still get, like you said, we still get half of the karma of our
Yes.
husband.
Yes.
But that's good karma or bad karma?
Both.
Oh, both?
Yeah, both.
Seriously, both?
Both. Bhagavatam says that the wife shares the karma of the husband, both good and bad.
Oh man.
Yeah.
That's not fair. If the man is doing something inappropriate and you're following the 4 regular principles and you're, then what to do? I mean,
so marry wisely.
But if you're already in it, then what to do?
Then you have to work even harder.
Oh, please bless me then, Mataji.
Yeah, you have all, if I mean, what use are my blessings, but I really pray that you get the blessings of Guru and Krishna and you can.
Mataji, please bless me too. I'm not married. Bless me that I should just devote myself wholeheartedly to Krishna and Krishna's devotees.
Yeah. You all of you on the class, I pray that all of you can go back home, back to God at the end of this lifetime.
Thank you, Mataji. So, I mean, I knew you said good, but I didn't know that bad also comes our way. I didn't know that.
No, both. The wife takes the karma, good or bad, both. Just as how the king takes the karma. I mean, it's called, the subjects also share the karma of the king because he's the leader. So it's both good and bad. Karma is karma, both good and bad.
Okay. Wow. That's scary.
Yeah.
Yeah, Srinama, if the wife, she is a devotee of Krishna and she does everything, and if a husband, if he is not doing anything, in next life, how does that karma work? So she is going to born in some other family with better thing, or how does it going to work here then?
So in today's class, Krishna said that the intricacies of karma are very difficult to understand. We cannot understand such things. In the shloka we saw intricacies of karma. It's very intricate. You cannot understand. You cannot understand. It's very, how can you say? It's very hard to say. It's a combination and permutations of so many things. So many things will combine and you cannot say for sure.
Okay. But will she get it some better life next time? Or because husband, he is not following, he is like into different world in that case? Because as you told now, will she take some karma from her husband, and in the next life will she born in a better family, or she may come down?
See, ultimately, the bottom line is, as you surrender unto me, I will reward proportionately, Krishna says. So if you are fully surrendered, if you are fully surrendered, irrespective of, say, infinity divided by 2 also is infinity, correct? So if you are fully surrendered, then no matter what your husband does, then Krishna will take you. But for that, you should be that much more surrendered. So it's proportion to your surrender. But you don't have that problem, right?
No, I don't have that problem. My husband is so good.
So you're lucky. You're very fortunate.
Yeah, Hare Krishna.
So, Mataji, can we do like some stories, like something devotional, like Kartik is starting, like other than prayers that you can bring your partner, other half, you know, even if they're not in Krishna consciousness, maybe like leave their bad habits or so.
Yeah, see, if the point is, if the husband is not cooperative, then you can do on behalf of your husband and give the benefit to your husband. So when you light the ghee lamp, if the husband is not willing to do it, then you light one extra in his name and give the benefit to him. So like that, he will get the benefit. But first you save yourself. Always say, sometimes people say, I want to chant rounds and dedicate it for somebody else. Fine. But first you chant your stipulated rounds. Then you chant for somebody else. Because you first save yourself. Even in the airplane, what do they say? When the oxygen levels are less, the mask comes down. You first put the mask on yourself and then you help somebody else, right? So first you save yourself. When you are strong enough, and you are steady, you are stable with your own sadhana, then you can do things to dedicate it for somebody else. Okay, but don't let your own sadhana get affected because you want somebody else to benefit and you're doing something for somebody else, dedicating to somebody else. No, first you take care of yourself, your own sadhana, make it strong, and then you can dedicate it for the others.
Thank you, Mataji. Mataji, please pray for me that this Kartik, I'm able to get my Prabhu to at least, if not more, at least one ghee lamp he offers, It's a challenge, but it's not impossible. Please pray for me, give me your blessings as well. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. So I request all of you to please light your ghee lamps. Don't take it for granted. It's a very, very simple thing. But very, very powerful, very, very potent. Don't let it go. Make the best use of this opportunity, offer your ghee lamps, and make your life sublime. Okay, till then,
Mataji, the tulsi sticks, like we have to cut the tulsi sticks that are, it's one big stick, and then we have to cut the tulsi stick. And once we do that and we put a cotton on it and then we light it up. But the thing is, after we are done and the tulsi has burned, the stick has burned, where do we put it?
you put it in the water.
In the water?
Yeah, put it in a river or an ocean, like that.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So when you use tulsi sticks, make sure you're using only sticks of a tulsi that has already left the body, not fresh. Okay. And
Yes,
tulsi should always be offered only to Krishna, not even to Guru Tattva, only to Vishnu Tattva. Tulsi you
okay.
cannot offer to anybody else. So when you do the ghee lamp offering, don't offer to any other Tattva other than Krishna or Vishnu Tattva. Okay.
Thank you. These two information were very important. I didn't know. Thank you so much.
Okay. Anything else we need to discuss?
So the ghee lamp we can offer to Guru Tattva, right? To like
Ghee lamp you can offer to Guru Tattva, but not tulsi. If your ghee lamp has tulsi stick in it, then you cannot offer it to Guru Tattva. You cannot offer tulsi at the feet of the Guru. Tulsi is only for Vishnu Tattva.
okay.
If it's
So
a normal ghee lamp with only ghee in it, then that yes, you can offer to Guru.
okay. Okay. And to the Damodar, the picture Damodar ki jo photo usko, right? For the card.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Dhanwad.
Okay, anything else we need to discuss?
Thank you, Mataji, for your deep devotional association, Mataji. We never forget your association and blessing. Pray for all of us, Mataji, that we become more and more sincere in bhakti. And yes, Mataji, when Prabhuji is not devotee, it's a challenge, Mataji. बहुत पेशेंस होनी चाहिए. भूल થઈ ગઈ माफ कर दो, भूल થઈ ગઈ माफ कर दो. That means that without doing any mistake, you have to say that please forgive me, please forgive. Not 1, 2, 3, 4 times, 10 to 15 times in a day, because it's effect to our kids, Mataji. They said we cannot be bear all these things. And Mataji, now my Prabhuji started to hear Shishi Hanuman Chalisa, Shishi Dwarkadish, Shishi Srinathji's, Shrimati Shishi Yamuna Maharani's prayers. So it's a sadhana, Mataji. We need lots of patience to change somebody's. एंड इसमें प्रभु जी का कोई फॉल्ट नहीं होता है, उनको गड़गुती में संस्कार नहीं मिले होते, इसलिए वो भगवान को बिलीव नहीं करते. तो माताजी, आई प्रे फॉर ऑल माताजीज दैट वी नीड लॉट्स ऑफ पेशेंस एंड लॉट्स ऑफ धीरज से काम लेना है, तो ही एंड प्रे टू श्रीमती सीसी भक्तिदेव, श्रीमती सीसी तुलसी महारानी, तो ही हम जो भी है फैमिली मेंबर, सास ससुर या हस्बैंड, उनको भक्ति दे सकते हैं. Every day we have to pray to Shishi Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Shishi Nityananda, Shishi Panchatattva, Shishi Nrsimhadev. Mataji, thank you for your association and blessing.
Thank you, Mataji. Yes, very important point that we have to have a lot of patience, a lot of humility. Humility can take you places in your relationships. Humility can take you places even with your material dealings. So yeah, she very, very wise words there, Vrinda Gopika. Thank you so much, Mataji. Okay, so we are 15 minutes above time. I'm sorry to have this extended class, but I hope you had a nice time. Till then, so we'll see you next week in for the next class if Krishna so sanctions. Till then, have a nice week in Krishna consciousness. Vancha kalpataruvyaschа kripa sindhu Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad
Shri Ram Mata Ji ki jai, Jai Pataka Maharaj ki jai, Shishi Bhagawad Gita ki jai. Thank you, Mata Ji. Koti Koti Dandavat Pranam to your sincere association.
Hare Krishna, Dhanwad Pranam, Mataji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.